facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Yeah, what's up?
No, what I was trying to say is that walking in this school, right, is a whole...
And it's made to keep us down and in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you guys are definitely on a great track, and what you're doing is, very commendable.
Mm-hmm.
On some of the podcasts though, like if you want to go into like, what's the steps that we are at before we get to the prison system? Because it's made to put us there.
Right.
But like I said, there's no steps.
But hold up, I got something to say.
It's on. All right. This I got something to say. It's SAF Moe, your prison lawyer. I'm sitting here with Tina Williams, and she's not even going. She's not even trying to cover up her name. She's gonna keep it real for y'all. No initials or anything like that. We're about to talk about Shakopee Prison and what happens, ISR, criminal justice. We're gonna do it like we usually do it. All right. Tina, where do you want to start from?
In there with what you want to know. I'm pretty much an open book, and I'm here to let you know what you want to know. Let you know what you want to know.
Well, we were just talking about ISR, and 1 second, I'm gonna turn this camera. I was going to ask you a question because you said you were working at a fast food restaurant during the time, and you said you had a pretty good experience with Hennepin County on ISR.
Yes, I did that because, like I stated before, you hear so many stories and so many other people's experiences on ISR. So when you get out there, that's what you're thinking that it's going to be.
What stories have you heard?
So I've heard like how they just pop up any and everywhere. They hound on your door. They follow you around.
Mm-hmm.
They try to put you in positions where to get you set back.
Right.
Regular life things that you have to deal with in life that people should be understanding or empathize with.
Same stories.
It's not,
They're not,
that they throw you back in for that. It's not understandable.
Right, yeah, they're not sympathetic to anything because ISR, again, for all our guests who just tune in for the first time and not understanding what we're talking about, because we've been through the system, we know ISR is intensive supervised release. It's the highest form of release they can utilize on supervision. And it involves you having, how many agents you have?
I had 5.
I had 3.
Yeah.
So these are routine. You call in every morning for a drug test.
Yes.
See if you got a drop.
Yeah, I didn't have a drug test. I didn't have a drug charge.
Well,
so I didn't have to have a drug test.
See that, and that's the common you're thinking like that. But I didn't have a drop charge, but they still made me drop.
But we are in a pandemic as well, so that would be a lot of the reasons that you wouldn't have to come in for a
less contact.
Less contact.
Yeah.
And then that's another reason too, like when the agents would come, they would definitely call and let me know they were coming. And some of the times they didn't even get out their vehicles. They'll make sure I'm in the house or where I am and say wave out the door or whatnot, and I'm on the phone and we do the interview like that.
Did you guys do any Zooms?
We did some Zooms.
Or would they do that Microsoft version of Zoom?
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me. They said they legally couldn't allow us to Zoom because I don't know, something with that teams. They were like, oh, we got to do teams. So I'm like, whatever. And I hate teams, but yeah, I was on record. So my story starts like this. As I was getting out after doing like 8.5 years, they were like, at first my case manager was like, you're not going to be on ISR. You're not going to be on ISR. Get involved with altercation with the CO. And they sent me just before I was supposed to get out, they sent me down to get charged with it on the streets. And because every place you go, because you guys don't have different places, but every time you go any place, they reassign you to a case manager. Mm-hmm. It's like you're being transported to another joint. Yeah. Even if I'm just down there for a day, they still do all the paperwork involved with it. So I get a new case manager. He comes down and sees me, and he says, "Oh, you're going to be on ISR." What? I've been told, because I'm now thinking the case manager up in Oak Park has been lying to me, right. And she's been waiting for me to come down to have him spring it on me. So when I get up, as soon as I get back up to Oak Park, guys, I'm hot. I'm calling her to my cell. I'm just basically, I'm not yelling at her, but I'm still hot. Like, why didn't you tell me about this? She's like, hey, she's like, I didn't know anything about this. She's like, your county of commit made the call. So, it goes DOC first, right? And
then it goes to the county.
If the county decides they want to do it, even if the DOC doesn't decide to do it, the county can override the DOC. Right. So Anoka County overrode the DOC. Even though I had everything it just, to me, it makes no sense, because all the stuff I did in prison, all of like not having any really disciplined record until I had this altercation, but whatever. And then everything I've done up to this point that the DOC says it's not necessary for me. Yeah,
no, the right hand does not talk to the left hand. I did go through a similar experience with that, because when I was released to Anoka County. And then I transferred to my permanent home that's in Brooklyn Park. That was my place.
Why did you? Anoka County was the county commit?
No, the county was the county of commit, but my home, I own my house, and that's in Brooklyn Park. But my co-defendant was living in my home.
Okay.
And so it was a family member, but my co-defendant was living in my home, and of course, as you're being released, you can't be around your co-defendant.
Yeah.
And I'm not just going to kick my family member out when they were caring for my children. So
right.
I got released to Anoka County, which was my sister's house, to give the family member enough time to find a place of their own and move out. And so when I got transferred over to Hennepin Counties, they started having me do the support group meetings.
Yeah.
Like for treatment. But I've never had a treatment.
A CD support?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so in Anoka County, they didn't have me do that. They're like, well, you had a treatment plan when you were in the CIP program, but you don't have a drug charge or whatnot. And you completed that treatment plan, so we're not going to have you do the support group meetings. But when I got transferred to Hennepin County, they said I had to do support group meetings twice a week. Mm. And I'm like,
where at? It was kind of like, where was it at? So like we can...
No, I found support group meetings like Zoom meetings, but I was confused, like, okay, so should I go to Alcoholic Anonymous, or should I go to like narcotics, or I don't have none of these charges or any other of these vices. Yeah. So which group meeting should I have? You know what I mean?
Did they give you any guidance on that?
They did not. They just said you have.
Was it a directive from the DOC?
It was a directive
from the DOC.
From the DOC.
The DOC has so it came when you were released.
When I was released, I had a treatment directive, but on my release papers it said completed, because I completed that in prison.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
That's why we were all confused.
That's what I'm confused.
When we were in Anoka County, they're like, you completed this.
Right.
But when they transfer me to Hennepin County, they're like, no, this is part of your sentence and you have to oblige by this. Yeah. So I was confused. Like I said, the right hand does not talk to the left hand. And this is, this is not unfamiliar, because this is what happens in the system. Just like when I spoke to you previously about when I went to prison, I was told that I was completely qualified.
So let's start that story. That story. All right. So what was initial? You said your crime revolves around finances.
Correct.
Okay.
It was a financial crime, and before I even got to prison, we looked up the CIP program, and I was definitely qualified because it's not a violent crime. Mm-hmm. And so when I got to prison, when I was eligible to apply, I applied, and I was getting ready for the program, because there's nothing that should restrict me from going.
Right.
And then I got a letter saying that I was restricted from going because I had a financial crime that totaled over $1 million, so that kept me from going. And so I was confused, so I wrote out to my lawyer and I told her, like, okay, we did this research, so this can't be right. And so she did the research again. She's like, no, you're qualified. But now at this point, I've been charged and convicted, so my lawyer has no more ties to me.
Right.
So that was the last conversation with her. So I'm like, okay, what can I do? So I had to reach out to family and friends on the outside. So we had to do our own research and investigative work and get the policies and the procedures and the rules regarding the program.
Were you in do they have a law library in Shakopee?
They do have a library. Well, you go to the regular librarian, you can look up law stuff on Thursdays, one day, and then there's a law librarian that comes in once day.
A month. No, one.
She's supposed to come in once a week, but that was not happening at all.
Okay, so let's just clarify. Like, so there's a law state. You talking about state law librarian?
The prison.
Prison law. Okay, so I know it's because it's a state law librarian who comes in once a month. But now this was an outside law librarian.
Yes.
Whose profession was
Supposed to, and that was provided by the new ombudsman that was in the prison,
okay.
and so that was provided for us.
When did you guys get that ombudsman or?
That was probably a year after I was in. Because
What year are you in?
I went in 2019.
Okay, so that's something new because
It's something new.
that's what we were trying to get when I was locked down, because it's a third party. What an ombudsman is they're not involved with the correction institution. They're not involved with the judicial system. So it's like a neutral person that comes in that sort of facilitates needs
For the inmates.
for the inmates. So it's
Kind of like an HR person up in the business system. You know
Right,
how
yeah.
the HR is for the employees?
Yeah.
That's how that
they
person
operate.
is. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to because at our facility we had an inmate who ours was open as many as from Monday through Friday. Inmate ran inside the library. We had access to books, access to LexisNexis, so we could do our cases. We could print out so many pages of legal briefs. So is that sounding familiar to you?
Yeah, that's the library, but when you go into the library, 9 times out of 10, you don't have anybody assisting you. You don't have anybody helping you find the resources you're looking for to help you look up statutes that's pertaining to your case or
Right.
what you're looking for. So you can go up in there completely illiterate to how to do these things and have no resources, have no help.
Okay.
So that was something that was being talked about throughout the prison. So that's why the law librarian was there every Thursday.
Okay. So
But was supposed to be there every Thursday.
you'd have no guarantee. Did you still have access to the law library even if they didn't show up on
Thursday, yeah.
Okay.
But in prison, there's always a set schedule, a movement. You have
Yeah.
to move on the movement.
Yeah.
And there's not always time for you to move on the movement because you don't have control over your life. The prison does.
Right.
So they tell you when to go eat, when to go work,
Yeah.
when to go do these things. So you're not always in the position where to go to the law library.
Yeah.
To go look up these things on your own.
Right.
And if you're per se fighting the system, like arguments, they're
Yeah.
not going to make a way for you to go there.
Right. Of course.
So
That's what people don't understand is a lot of times I'm sure people were like because they get the one side of it like they got access to the law library, they got this, they got that, but they don't understand how difficult it is to get yourself there because whatever reason, even with us you can only have so much material in yourself.
Yes.
So if you start collecting legal stuff because you got some cases could be 100 pages.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one case that you might want to cite that you have to have in your bin. I'm not talking about maybe you have Minnesota rules of court, maybe you have the federal rules of court. All these things that you might have in order for you to combat it, because when you can't go to the law library, you want to have access to that stuff so you can work on your time.
And that's not the only thing you have to put in your bin. You
Right,
still gotta have
clothing,
clothes, and
hygiene,
and
food,
yeah,
whatever, letters.
So all of that
Yeah.
compiled in one. Something got to go.
Yeah,
you know.
So back to your story about CIP. What is that again? That's an acronym.
That's a challenge incarceration program.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that in the book a couple of times.
It's a military-based program. It's like an 18-month program, and it's definitely structured. Like when you get into that program, it's not easy. They put you to work. They labor, like the exercises is so it's strategically planned to make you think, to use your head. You know what I mean? Because if mentally you're not right, you're gonna fall apart.
Right.
You know, so it's strategically made to make you stronger and think. And I appreciate it for that aspect. But there's a lot of things that they can do better with.
Yeah.
Because you're working with adults, and you know you've dealt with the prison system. They break you down into a childlike mode, and then expect you to act adult-like. It's just contradictory.
There's schizophrenic. The whole system is schizophrenic. They you know, like I said, they beat you down, demoralize you, dehumanize you, and
there's no picking you back up.
Hey, go out into the world and be something.
Yeah. And before they send you out there, there's no picking you back up.
No,
you know?
there's no.
And I've learned the metaphor where we break you down and pick you up and build you stronger. That's not what the prison system does.
No, yeah.
They just break you down.
Right, of course. I mean, they don't have any. They don't like. So just so your story. So you try to get into the CIP program.
Yes. And so I looked up the rules and the statutes, and I'm like, okay, so there's no way I'm not accepted. So I applied again. They had denied me again. So then I started writing letters to, you know, the chairperson of the program, like, okay, this is your policy, this is your procedures, these are the rules surrounding the program. There's nowhere here that restricts me from coming to this program, so when will I be accepted? You know, and I even gotten a letter back from them stating, you're not qualified for the program. You need to find other resources around the prison to utilize your time better.
What? Then write us a letter and
So
is that? I'm assuming that they mean stop writing us letters.
That's exactly what
go out there and go and work in the kitchen or something.
Find other means around the prison to utilize my time. Yeah. So what I did, I outsourced to Blackstone Career Institution, and I found other means to utilize my time. I went and I got my paralegal. Yes. And I've learned how to look up statutes. I've learned how to reach out to the people that's actually supposed to listen to you and make something happen. Not only myself, there was plenty of other girls up in the facility that jumped on that bandwagon and wrote letters, and we got some attention from the Department of Corrections. Paul Schnell, he got wind of our letters, the mayor, the governor, and we started getting responses back. You know, and once
from those individuals. Okay.
You know, and that's the thing. I feel like, you know, a lot of people don't have resources or know who to talk to, or feel like people's not doing nothing about it. But it is a process to everything, you know. And once you write policies and procedures and put them out there for the public to read, these are our bylaws now. This is something that you have to oblige by. And so once we start getting letters back, mind you, this was not instantaneously.
So what's the time duration? How many letters?
It was like over a year and a half before we was even after we've gotten letters back saying, okay, we understand the problem, we know what's going on, this is going to be corrected.
So this is, but before we go even that far, explain what could have happened to you if they found out you were the instigator.
Oh, so but like I said, there was a lot of other women that jumped on the bandwagon, and we had to synchronize it where we're talking in code, we're passing letters or whatnot, because this is considered enticing a riot.
So I mean, so
Yes.
we know it's not.
We know it's not.
We know it's not. It's being active.
But in
active.
prison, when you are getting other people on your team and it's something that can do a headway, like that can cause tension, this is lives we're dealing with. You know what I mean? Especially for me, I felt like this was a fight for my life. I'm trying to get back to my kids
as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible. So I'm definitely not trying to incite a riot, but I'm definitely not just doing this for myself.
What are you supposed to do? Lay down? What are you supposed to do?
That wasn't an option.
I'm just saying, like, so if you don't take the means of educating yourself, figuring out what's going on, then the only option is for you to go find something constructive to do with your time. Go work out in the gym or
exactly.
You know.
But the prison looks at it, okay, if you're doing this for yourself and you find a loophole where you actually get out, how dare you make way for other people to? That's how they look at it.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that it's not just your situation, it goes across the board. So that's the reason why they're so tough in the male prisons also, because if one guy figures out a way to get out, that means everybody's coming with them.
Right.
And they don't have to readjust, or if some guy points out a mistake, that means they have to adjust it for everybody. Because remember, Minnesota's supposed to be this liberal, white, not Republican. You know, we're Minnesota friendly. We do it about it. But if people actually figure out what's going on in their criminal justice system, they'll look at them a little bit different. But just continue with your story about the CIP program, please.
Yes. So, like I said, once it started getting headway, we did get a lot of us got letters, and a lot of us got into the program, which was like, that was the best thing that for me, because I'm sitting around watching a lot of these women that's been here for years before I even came, just like, you know what, nope, we can't get in, and that's just what it is. They've given up because they don't have any resources. They don't have anybody that's advocating for them. They're not bringing people with information saying, okay, and they don't have the policies, the procedures, and the rules of the program nowhere posted in the prison.
Right.
You know, so why would they?
Why would they?
But they're supposed to.
Right.
You know, if you go into a barbershop, you want to see their license.
Yeah, well,
and if this is a program.
This is a state-run program, or the state-run institution. Why you don't have your policies?
Look, not only that, this is an early release program. That means if I'm eligible for this program, you have to give me my due process to get into this program,
right? Just
like everybody else,
right?
And if you're blocking me, that's another. That's a whole nother road that we're gonna go down. If I have the smarts to go ahead and legally reprimand you, you know what I mean? But that's the problem. People don't think they have any rights because that's the way the prison system treat you.
Right.
They degrade you and they break you down and they strip you from all of your rights. Right. And so that's how we feel when we're in prison. Like there's nothing that we can do. But there is. But once I got into the program, like I said, it was not easy at all. And it was definitely different from the prison system. And there's a lot of good qualities, but there's a lot of things, as I said before. Now, the good qualities about that, because they do get you up in there and they get you prepared a lot of it more than the prison to get back out there in life. If you don't have education, they set you up to make sure you're getting your GED, getting education before you get out there. If you don't got your license or Social Security card, you know, who walks around with Social Security? I probably lost mine 2-3 times in my lifetime, They help you get your Social Security card. They make sure they get you into a residence as you're leaving. And now this is one of the things, one of the things that I did not know, that when you're released from the CIP program, if you do not have a residence to go to.
Just pause for a second. Let us let them come in and we can hello everybody. With us. And so I can we go welcome back. We're back, and Tina's gonna continue telling us about the CIP program, and I want to know after you get done telling us how you were able to do what you did in the CIP. You know, when you were there, you know how were you? You know, you said you were transmitting information. back and forth through notes and things like
And
that.
that was before the CIP program.
That was before the CIP program.
That
Yeah,
was before the CIP.
yeah. I just want to know. I wanted to know because what you're doing, and we talked a little bit about this on the phone, is it could got you sympathetic.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and what made you decide that instead of just helping myself get out, I want to help these other females?
You know, I have 2 cousins that was actually incarcerated with me as well.
Okay.
You know, so it wasn't about just me, it was about my family as well. Not only that, I met Barbara in prison. And if you guys met Barbara, you know she's one of the
She's
solid
wonderful.
individuals.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
And when you come in contact with people in prison, just because they're in prison, that don't mean they're no more human. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just a lot of individuals in prison, they go through a lot of the same things that you're going through.
Mhm.
And when you see that and you're a part of the movement, you got to move with them. You can't.
You want to go over there and ask them?
No, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you just move with the movement. You're not thinking, okay, let me save myself.
Mhm.
You're thinking, how in the hell did all of these women get left behind?
Now, is your cousins with you on this case, or they just happened to be?
No, they're not with me on
This
the case.
case.
They actually got their own case.
Just the same thing?
It's all financial crimes.
Okay.
Yep,
So-
but they're on their own case, so they got charged separately.
Oh,
One of
okay,
my cousins was
okay.
there before I got there.
Okay.
One came, a week or 2 after I got there.
Okay.
You know, but like I said, when you're seeing all these women and you're being told no, and you're like, nah, that ain't the answer that I'm gonna accept. And you're looking at all these women, you're like, how the hell did they? That's me. I'm sorry.
That's cool.
How long were you incarcerated?
She was,
I was there for 19 months before I got accepted into the boot camp program. And then I did 6 months in the boot camp program and then 12 months in ISR after.
Okay.
So released into the community.
Mm-hmm.
So
so you'd be like a modern day Harriet Tubman.
I don't take,
Will you be? I mean,
but-
to be selfless.
I just feel like
That's what it is.
me, I feel like me as an individual, just as a human, period.
Mhm.
So be there and experience people being dehumanized and watching it, like, because I had my own perspectives of prison before I even went there.
Right.
Everybody has their own
Yeah, I
perspectives
mean-
and how the people are in prison and why should they be
Yeah,
in
yeah,
prison
well-
or how they deserve to be
Yeah.
there.
They
But
must
when
have
you-
did something.
When you get to prison, you get to know individuals.
Right.
And me personally, I don't like to ask what you did because then I may think different, you
Right.
know. But you get to know individuals in prison, and it's like if you're working this hard for yourself, and then you done created a relationship or camaraderie between this
one.
individual, how can you say, okay, well, figure it out, I'm out of here? You just can't do that.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
as an individual, as a person
Right.
that feels.
They do it, but I mean,
It's done
you're
every
a
day,
different-
all
yeah,
the
yeah,
time.
you're a
because
different
you
type
know
of.
what? We're faced with the scrutiny. Like, if you want to pull somebody else along with you, they're gonna pull you back.
Well, of course.
You know what I mean? So people don't hand out that hand.
It's the Willie
It's
Lynch.
not each one teach one anymore.
It's the Willie Lynch principle, understanding that hey, they're going to do everything they can do to manipulate you, to scare you.
Yes.
First of all, not to uprise against them.
Yes. Well, they found the right one because I was raised to not be moved.
Where are you from?
I was born and raised in Kankakee, Illinois.
Kankakee. Oh,
Kankakee.
55. Oh my God.
Yes.
Ain't nothing in Kankakee.
The country.
Isn't that
Yeah,
our
the
country?
country.
Y'all
Yeah.
country.
On fire.
Hey, how y'all gonna be in? How y'all gonna be in
We
Illinois
country.
after
But
Chicago?
But we solid and we loyal. So,
Don't let them get away with
How
it.
y'all gonna be
Hey,
outside
that's okay.
Chicago and be in a country? Kankakee.
hey,
Oh
but we
my
solid
God.
and
Yeah,
we loyal.
yeah.
And we're resourceful.
Yeah, but Kankakee's
You know?
a spot. Kankakee. Hey,
There's nothing there.
When you
There's nothing
when
there.
you come up
You're
to
absolutely
Minnesota?
right. I've been in Minnesota long enough to claim it.
Right. Me too.
You know,
I mean, I don't,
You
but
asked
I
me,
do.
where you from, Minnesota?
Yeah, you
Long
right.
enough to
Why
claim
you come
it.
from Kankakee? Wasn't nothing there.
It was a family decision.
Oh,
I
the
was
whole
young.
family
I was
came?
born and raised in
Yeah,
Kankakee.
okay,
so
yeah.
when the family migrate.
Yeah, everybody come. That's
Everybody
it.
come.
That's what we did in the
So,
South.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. So, like I said, that has a lot
Oh
of
shit, she's
spend
from
around that
Kankakee.
loyalty feel,
Mhm.
you
I
know?
want to ask
You want to answer
a
that?
Not really, but that's,
We can come off camera and let you answer that and come back on.
no, it's one of my coworkers. He's handicapped, and I
Uh-huh.
took him Thanksgiving dinner, and he's just
Thank
ecstatic.
you.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
so.
beautiful thing.
I got a question I want to ask you that I wanted to ask I wanted to ask Barbara, but I forgot. And when I first got out of the feds, I was in a co-ed halfway house down in Tallahassee, Florida, and I met this young lady while I was there, and we ended up being a couple. The halfway house didn't approve of it; they didn't want it to happen, but they couldn't stop it because we weren't doing nothing at the halfway house to break the rules and nothing like that. But she enlightened me on something that was going on with women in federal prison when she was there. She said that women, like there was a lot of homosexuality going on in there, and she said that they knew some of these girls were HIV and AIDS positive, and they would still have oral sex with these women, thinking that they can't get it orally.
Yeah, and that's horrible because I mean, I feel like the prison system should be a point to educate for treatment purposes. For, you know how they say we're trying to prevent recidivism? It's far from that. Yeah, did you just fucking dog?
No, your phone was about to fall. I was trying to catch it.
No, but it's far from that. Like, you'll take somebody that's had a history of drugs and put them on probation, put them in drug court, but that does not help. So you throw them in a prison and you forget about them. You don't provide treatment.
Right.
You don't provide any means to get off this and get your life straight. The only thing you provide for them is abstinence of the drug. Thinking when they get out, they're going to be okay, I'm good. No, that's the first thing they're going to go
Of course.
And it's not total abstinence from the drug.
It's not. No, you are absolutely right. It is in there. And how do they keep it out? They can't. So what should they do? They need to provide methods of getting these people off the drug.
The thing
provide that help. They're not doing that.
The thing about it is prison is like we got two different concepts of what prison is. We've been programmed to believe that prison does all these things from standing out. Like before we even got our cases, we thought that, those people in prison deserve to be in prison. Or why you need money in prison? You should be fine in prison. They're feeding you every day. Then we get in and we find out exactly what's going on. So what I did find out, prison's not set up. It used to be a long time ago set up for rehabilitation, set up for bringing people back into the community whole. What it's set up for now is just strictly punishment.
Yeah.
Punishment and making money for the state.
They're always going to do that.
The thing is, if you don't have no inmates, you ain't generating no money.
But you got all these people.
Everybody is income.
Right.
Everybody is income from the prison. So why, in my right mind, would I let you out and let's give him away my money?
But no, think about draw a circle around yourself even today and see how many people make money off of you. Draw a circle around yourself. You're a commodity for these individuals.
Exactly.
You think about when a PO, when they put you in prison, the judge is going to make money because the whole court process and all that other stuff. The people know about that. Police officers, the clerk, the recorder, all these people are making money.
Yeah,
but then think about it, the
think
CEO.
About it like this. There's always a whole system and a whole process and a whole organization making money off of you. As soon as you tap into that and figure out how you make that money too, you're the criminal.
Yeah,
no, I'm just saying.
That's the truth.
I went to prison. That's my charge. White collar crime.
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't consider myself a criminal.
Right.
I consider myself, when I got charged and convicted, I consider myself uneducated.
Right.
And so what y'all should have did was put me in a system where I can get fully educated on business, where I can build myself and do things the proper way, because I'm not a criminal. I've never been in trouble. Criminal programs?
No.
Kind of programs? Oh no, they advertise lots of programs. Can you get in them? Are you allowed to get in them? Do they pay for them? And then do you have enough time on your books to actually partake in this? Because if you don't have enough time, then you can't get in this program. If you have too much time, then you can't get in right now.
Who's doing all that? Is that your case manager who's checking your programs you can be in? Or are you writing education and they're denying you?
Well, when you first get in the prison system, they do your little plan.
Yeah, they tell you.
Yeah, they tell you, okay, this is the level you at. These are the programs that you have to go into because of your charge. And these are some other programs around the prison that you probably should partake in if you ain't got nothing else to do.
Right.
Where they go into detail of what these programs offer. What do they do? Here's some resources that can help you better yourself. Use your time, wisely and effectively, that it's conducive to you for when you get out. You get in prison, you get around people women that's fighting for their kids. You know, women that
husband or parents trying to take the kid,
not only that,
or the state trying
that
to.
single mothers. Like I'm a single mother. If I didn't have a support system, my kids would be part of the system.
So what
You
you're
know?
trying to say? Explain what, because the people don't understand. Like a guardian ad litem would come in and then send them out.
Look, you have women that's come into prison that's pregnant, having their kids in pregnancy. If they don't have a support system, you know their child is sent off to another family. And this other family, this is the program that was just implemented. This family will take care of your child like an adoption or whatever, and they're supposed to bring your child to come see. But if you get a substantial amount of time, you know, even with the state, the state only cares for your child for a certain amount of time before they say, okay,
You gotta adopt it.
you gotta adopt or
Somebody
foster
gotta
care
come in.
and move
Now,
around.
what's the time?
It's part
Do
of
you know
system.
how long they keep the child?
Okay, so one individual that I actually was privy to watch her actually whole process, having her baby, going through the new program. The child was brought every other week until the family felt like they would no longer want to bring the child up there because it wasn't helping the child. But now, when do you feel like that you can make these decisions for this child? It's
Exactly.
not yours.
You're
You've been put in place.
yeah.
So you got to play your role,
Yeah,
right?
but you gotta keep-
But now this mother, what rights do she have? What
None.
resources do she have?
None.
Who's coming to help fight for her?
None.
So there's nobody you could call and say they ain't bringing my kid up here?
No.
Who are you calling when the prison puts that in place?
Ghostbusters. Yeah. It's
Who helps you? But now you're looked at it because now you're in the prison system. Now you're degraded. You're less than less.
Right,
You're
right, right.
criminal.
You're not a human.
But now. You got this family that's, you know, not criminals, that they're
Right,
willing
right,
to take
right.
care of your child.
Right.
They love this child, so why would we give this
But
child?
is there-
back
is-
to you?
can they-
You're giving up your right. No, they convince you as a mother to give up your right.
but can they adopt the child? So is there?
Okay.
So I don't
No,
understand.
no, I definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, a
It
lot
makes
of
no
stuff
sense
is
to me.
confusing.
It
None
makes
of the
no.
stuff
It makes no sense.
But as a mother, you have to legally give up your rights. You know,
What?
You have to legally give up. You know, you don't have to, but you have to for
If you
somebody
want
to-
better for your kids.
Exactly. So what they do is, if you're in a prison system and you've been on drugs, or you just ain't got that guidance or that knowledge, or you know, they will convince you that this is what the best decision is for you to give up your child.
You're depressed at the time.
You have nothing.
Yeah.
You're
No-
being
yeah.
released to nothing.
Yeah.
You don't have no place to go.
Yeah, you got nothing to provide
You know?
for that child.
So
you feel.
you feel like to be a good mother to this child,
Yeah, you do.
the only way I can provide better is to give up my child.
I seen something
That
online
makes
about
no
that the other day.
sense.
This lady,
It's sad.
this
It
lady was
It's
homeless.
very sad.
This lady was homeless, and it was she had gave up her kid when her kid was born to adoption. Well, the girl grew up and found her real mother. By the time she found her, she was homeless. So she never let her mother know who she was, but she would give her money and bring her food every day, every other day, and
Right,
stuff like
and-
that, right? And then one day she finally told her mother who she was, and it's a whole video on it. On
And the
YouTube.
struggle is real, and that's what happens.
This
like,
is crazy.
people don't understand a lot of times when a person is taken out of the home, it's a ripple effect. It's not just affecting that person. They have kids, they have loved ones. They probably was the main sole provider for that family.
Yeah.
So you're not just, okay, let me snatch this person because they're a criminal and they did all this, but you have to look at their life.
Right.
You know what I mean? You may label them as a criminal, but you got a lot of other people that label them as a support system,
Right.
as a caregiver,
Yeah.
as a
Mother.
provider, as a
Sister,
mother, a
yeah.
sister, a brother.
Need-
You know,
need-
somebody that they
need to.
detrimentally depend on in their life. But you're looking at them, the state, the
Yeah.
system is looking at them, no, we can throw them away. Why? Because they didn't follow our rules.
Well, but the thing about it is, take a look at it. If you watched episode, I think 5 with Baby Crip, and he talks about how the state turns the individual into a slave. And the reason I point to that is because it's the same thing they did with slaves. They put them on blocks, broke up families. Didn't care. Mom went this way, dad went this way, kids went this way.
That's how the prison system is structured, though, because they want to say, well, we have to lock these people up because it's unconstitutional if we don't, because they broke this.
Right.
But you got to understand, the Constitution wasn't written for us.
Right.
When they say we, the people, the black people
Yeah,
was
they
not.
never.
Black people was not put in the Constitution to years later, and we had to fight for that right, like we still are today. So when they say you're innocent until proven guilty, no, you are innocent. You're guilty until you can prove yourself innocent. And how the system works is, if you got these attorneys and defense attorneys going out gathering this information, that's all they need to do, is gather information with your name on it. But if you can prove that you're innocent, then okay. But how are you going to prove that when they got all this hearsay information? It doesn't even have to be factual. They can just gather it. They took this time to gather this information. Go to the judge like, look at all this we got. How he gonna say he didn't do it?
Well, present it to a jury, and jury then doesn't. They're dealing with stereotypes. You never have a jury of your peers. You have a bunch of white folks sitting on.
And if you did, are they going off of logical information? You have to go off life. You can't go off of textbook stuff and convict me because you don't know the emotion, the mental, or nothing behind this incident. Like, you have to go off life. Now, I'm being convicted and you're going to take my life from me because you tell me this is the way I should have handled it when you wasn't physically in my shoes, emotionally, feeling the vibe. You have to go off life. You can't go off textbooks. And that's what they do. They look at same or similar cases. Freak what's behind it, but the same crime, you're gonna get the same time. That's what they do.
I think personally they don't care. It's a system like a belt. People don't care what a cow has. People don't care. They look at us not as people. They've never looked at us as people. If you read Dred Scott and read the actual the opinion, they talk about us. Things haven't changed since then. And if you look at it, they have no problem breaking up. That's why the black family. That's why it's so disproportionate. The way they come down with criminal justice, they hit the black male, but they have the last person in the South that was vindicated or lifted out of slavery was the black female, because she never got out of slavery. Right? They were as a black male getting voting rights and land and all that. She was last. So they have no problem turning her into whatever stereotypical auntie mama, whatever it might be. But she's gonna be.
When she speaks out, then you put her right back in that societal category where she's angry,
mad,
she's black.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, she's got a problem.
Where do we get vindicated?
Never.
So we have to vindicate ourselves.
Right.
And so that's my whole stance on everything in life that I go through. I don't care if it's prison or whatnot. I don't consider myself a criminal, but so I consider that time I spent in prison an experience, a life lesson. And it wasn't just for me to get through it and prove that I'm strong. It was for me to get up in there and realize what's going on and help the other people that I'm not going to be here for no lifetime. I'm not no criminal, so this is not my home.
Right.
I'm getting out of here.
Right.
So while I'm here, if I can help somebody else and let them know, like, each one teach one, let me help y'all, show y'all. That's what I'm here for.
Are you in contact with anybody?
I'm in contact with Byron.
That's the only person?
And 2 other people that's still incarcerated. I talk to them weekly and put money on their books, but you can't bring everybody with you.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying that
goes out or whatever, but you do find the people that you want to, like, you know what, you're conducive to my life because I feel like I was placed here to meet you.
Right,
you know what I mean?
It's all for me.
I've been in and out all my life since a juvenile, right? And what I do different right now that I didn't do all of those other times I got out, I stay in contact with people in prison for several reasons. One of the reasons is so because all the time, other times I got out, after a period of time, I started getting complacent and started forgetting about. I could go back in.
And it's easy to get complacent.
It's easy. So that's one of the reasons why I stay in contact with people in prison, so I don't get complacent. And another reason is I established some real friendships while I was in there. You know what I'm saying? Real friendships. So I got some people in prison that was in prison with me that are closer to me than people I've known all my life. And
that happens. That like I said, just because people are in prison, you can't not put them in that category, saying like, okay, you ain't in here for nothing. Like, nobody's in here for nothing. But at the same time, does your crime really deserve that time that you're getting? That's the question. But these people are human.
Mm-hmm.
You can't dehumanize them because they did something like made a mistake in their lives.
Mhm.
Now, granted, everybody in prison ain't innocent.
No.
Everybody in prison should not be let out them doors.
Mhm.
You meet them people too.
Right?
But, I mean, do you treat them less than human?
No.
You do not.
No, they're still
You do not. They're still
They're
human.
still
And then you gotta think, you got some people that's in prison that's never getting out.
Right.
Mhm.
How do they maintain life? It's like I call it the little hamster wheel.
Right.
You
I
know, the
think it,
hamster wheel that just
yeah,
keeps
yeah,
going.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
no end. There's no beginning. It just keeps
Everything,
going.
everything
Just-
is the
just
same
no-
every day.
Yeah.
you deal with a lot of lifers, and dealing with them, it affected me a lot because, like you said, I was in Oak Park Heights and it's 6 stories down, and they always say most people go down, they don't come back up. That's Oak Park Heights. Now I'm dealing with them, and it's sad because like we've done a couple of different podcasts with individuals who have 90 some years, 80 some years. How do you deal with that? How do you wake up every day and know that you're never going to see your family again? That when you were 14 years old, when you were 19 years old, that was the last time you were going to be able to hug your mom outside of the, being where it's been restricted.
And then you look at them and you don't see the progression from the 14 to the 50-year-old man that's sitting in front of your face. Where's the progression? Where's the education? Where's the knowledge? Where's, the guidance? Where's that stuff that the prison system should have put on this man? You know what I mean? You don't see that.
But they don't.
So they're just there.
Well, the thing about it is that I feel like when you get convicted, you actually die. It's a death. It's a death. It's not because and you gotta respect. Only way you can understand what's going on. You gotta understand what's going on with you, right? So the whole thing about slavery. If you compare the plantation, like when I was in prison, you had to use a pass to go from one complex to the next. Barbara said you had to wear a jacket.
Yeah, well, it changed a few times while we were there. You can use the pass, and they took the passes away. And then if you're allowed to go somewhere, they call and you can be allowed to move. Then you would have to wear the jacket so they know that you were allowed to move. And then it was just structured movement. You couldn't even go nowhere. Not a pass, not a jacket.
So they call
movement
that
all at once.
Was it guards every so many steps when you walk?
Yeah.
So that's control movement.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the same
Yeah.
difference.
No. You said it's just it's specific to the point. Like that's not a medium joint. Well, it could be medium, but it's not like a true medium.
Right.
Right. Where in Oak Park Heights, not Oak Park, but Moose Lake, they have a true like medium supposed to be when you could just sign yourself out and just go.
Yeah. And like I said, it did gradually. It started off that way, but now we have Corona. We have when stuff gets ruffled up in the prison, they shut everything down.
Well, yes.
Only because we're a women's facility, but they go off of the men's facility.
Yeah.
And the men's facility, they're not taking no shit over there. Excuse my language. They're not taking it over in the men's facility, and they're gonna watch what they're saying to them. Now over in the women's facility, they're talking to them in kind of way. They're degrading them. It's bad. And now when you get one woman that's not taking it, we gotta shut her down because she's gonna entice a riot because somebody's gonna catch on and ain't nobody gonna take it.
What about?
So they do be on the women like, okay, before anything get out of control, we're gonna shut it down. But if it was to pop off right here, they're not breaking it up. They're doing the sirens, yelling or whatever, but ain't nobody breaking this fight up. And then you got victims' families up in there with the accused, and you think nothing's about
Yeah, that's right. That shocked me.
This.
That shocked me.
Yeah.
That shocked me because y'all don't know classification.
Exactly.
Classification keeps, and then you can do a non-compact, so you can't come into the same block as another individual.
Everybody's thrown up in there. Don't matter what crime you have, no matter what you did or whatnot. Everybody's put in one area.
I got relationships. Now, is there guard? Did you ever see guard with female relationships?
I've heard a lot of stories.
But you never seen it.
I've never seen it personally. You see some guards that's real friendly and a little bit flirtatious. Me, I mind my business. I mind my business because, again, we're dealing with adult people. And that ain't my business. And then we in a whole prison. I'm not new. I may be new to the prison system, but I ain't new to minding my business.
I
know,
see it. I ain't new,
you know,
I ain't new to this.
I ain't new to minding my business.
see it.
So if that's
I
what's
see it.
going on,
Yeah.
and that person's not expressing anguish or distress, I'm minding my business.
So what about relationships outside the prisons? Did you try to maintain a relationship with a male outside
No,
the prison?
no.
Did you have one coming in to prison?
Talking about to see me that I
Well,
knew
no,
from
just
the
to-
outside,
yeah,
or that
just-
I met in the prison.
No, there's two. So the first one is that prior to your criminal conviction, was there someone significant with you?
Oh yeah, but you know what? When
'Cause-
they sentenced me, I cut all ties only
Did you-
because
did
I
you-
had to.
You cut
I
ties.
cut ties only because I'm a whole female and I know myself, and I'm not about to be in prison crying, wondering where you at, and he didn't
Okay.
answer this time,
Okay.
the money didn't come
Okay.
on time.
Right.
That's just too much to put on myself.
Right.
And I figured, you have to know yourself to
Right.
get through a lot of things. You have to know yourself, and if you don't, this is the perfect time to reflect
Yeah.
and get to know yourself before you go through this long
Yeah,
road.
because
You know.
you say you be crying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a whole female, and so if you're a female and say, "No, I ain't worried about him. He can do what he wants." Okay.
Guess what? The men cry too.
I'm pretty sure.
The men cry
Oh, I'm
too.
pretty sure. The evidence, I'm pretty sure. But to know yourself, you have to cut things off, and you have to, mentally prepare yourself for this time. You have to do. And so my biggest thing that was on my brain was my kids.
Exactly. Well, that's
This is just completely. They are the true victims in this
Yeah,
situation.
definitely.
And this is going to be
Definitely.
detrimental. Now, you go and look at statistics. Every little black child that's had a parent in prison, that's the road. That's the start.
That's what
of
they
them.
claim.
If you look at
They claim that is, but that's one thing that I will reject.
Okay, but I'm saying if you look at
Yeah, statistics say it all
that's
day.
what it
Like
says
your
all
child's
day.
more-
But
they're not-
I'm not going to be a part of it.
I accept that my child might be more than likely. I'm accept that because he's a black male. You know what I'm saying? But not because I've been to prison. Because the thing about it is, one thing I do know about children, and that's why it hurt me when you were talking about the females and how they're taking the child away from them. Because you got to understand, when that child is a baby, it's like anything. It remembers, it sees, it starts to gravitate toward family. What family is, a structure. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say, what was fortunate, I went to prison later on in life, so I had those years with my children, so they knew who I was. So I wasn't, although I was gone when I came back, it took a little bit of time, but they had that childhood understanding when dad was there. Football games.
They've already formed that relationship.
Yeah, that. It's almost like if you bring a puppy up, you know what I'm saying? He becomes part of the family. You know what I'm saying? That's bringing a child in. It becomes part of the family. It starts identifying mother, father, role models, things like that.
But I also think it depends on the household too, because once the father leaves, or if it's the mother that goes to prison, the household is broken now.
No, my only thing I'm clarifying is that it's essential to be in that child's life.
It is.
And some people think, oh, it's a baby. Oh, it's a baby.
Oh,
No. They're more
You know what?
cognizant.
I say that just by regular relationships with the baby mama, baby daddy situation. I feel like me, because I'm a single mom, but I feel it's not my right to keep my children away from their father.
That's
regardless
important.
Whatever
That's
the father is going
important.
through,
Yeah,
whatever they're going through in his life, that's my kid's right to
That's
be in on
important.
that.
That's
Because me
super
as a
important.
mother, whatever I go through in my life, my kid's going to come with me. I don't care if I'm struggling, or if I'm beat up, starving, gangbanging. They're going to see that because these are my kids.
Right.
They're going to come with me. So you as a father, that's not my right to tell my kid they can't know the other half of that life, because that's
Right.
going to make them or break them.
Right.
It's detrimental for a child to be without their parent, the other parent,
Right.
but it's also detrimental for them to be, put in a position where they can't.
Right. That's
You know
even
what I mean?
worse.
They can't.
That's even
Let them
worse.
see and make their own
Yeah,
decisions and
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like, because kids learn if it's a bad parent, they learn what they don't want to do.
Right.
They learn lessons for
Right,
everything.
but they still get an opportunity to love that parent.
They have
get
to
an
get that choice.
opportunity
They have to get
because
that
they're gonna
choice.
because no matter what my mom does, she's still my mom. I love her,
Exactly.
and that's what's important.
Yeah.
You can't be the person. And so many times these white females up in Minnesota, they try to play that game. I'm gonna keep this file. I'm gonna use it. That becomes a pawn. It's not even a child. It's like you can't. And it's just worse because as the child gets older and the internet is open, you can figure out who your dad is.
I think that happened with a lot of females of all races.
I think personally, I'm not in the middle on this. I see mostly with white females playing that game that I'm not trying to say it doesn't happen with
Right.
black females.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying like that's the dynamic to the relationship. Like she's using it to keep the male in tow, opposed to being like, hey, you know what? I see more with the black females is that you come see your child, but we ain't got nothing going on.
Yeah,
I'm just saying they keep it real. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
That be like, you know what? I'm hurt right now, and hurt people, so stay the hell away.
Well, that's true.
I heard that on the radio.
That's true.
I'm just saying,
That's
no,
true
I
too.
heard that on the radio.
That happens a
No,
lot.
that's true.
And regardless if it's coming from the white community, the black community, the Asian, the Japanese, it just needs to cease because if you're looking out for the betterment of the child,
Right.
that wouldn't even come to your mind.
Right.
You know what I
Being adult
mean?
about
Keeping
the
it
situation.
Yeah, that's not maybe
and
that's
me,
a
I'm the whole
maturation.
type of person.
It's-
If I got the kids, that means you outside.
Mm-hmm.
You get these kids so I can go outside.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't want to be in the house. I need help.
Were you incarcerated? You got 35 minutes. Were you incarcerated when COVID first hit?
I was, and it was actually coming in new.
Uh-huh.
So it hit when I was already in
Yeah,
custody.
it hit when I was in there.
Yeah.
But what changed? I'm gonna tell you what changed for us in the men prison. But what changed for y'all in the women's
You know what?
prison
I feel
it
like
hit
when it hit, they didn't actually know what to do. So they were just playing it by ear. So it wasn't like, okay, the first thing that changed was we couldn't, it was always a no touching policy, but actually we went in on that too because there's no way in no prison that you say we can't handshake or high five or
No,
anything.
you was hugging. So did that change?
That actually did change where we could like high five in passing. But when COVID hit, there's no touching, you have to wear masks, and actually we were locked down for 23 hours
Are
a
you
day.
2-man cells, 1-man cell? I mean, female cells.
It,
4-man?
So when you're first entering the prison, of course you have to go through that orientation phase. So you are in a 6-person cell. You're up in there with 6 people.
In one bathroom.
In one bathroom.
Is it an enclosed bathroom?
No, it is not.
It's
actually,
open?
You have to open. You have to actually leave the room to go across the hall. But
Oh, so it's-
that one bathroom was for that room.
Okay, so we have a toilet in our cells.
Well, when you get into a 2-person cell, the toilet is in the cell.
Can you cover it up when you use the bathroom? Is there any way you could put up?
Yeah, there's
private.
like, like when you go out, let's say to the club and you go in the bathroom, there's that little swinging door.
Yeah.
That's what it has.
See, ours is like like you see, it's in the cell,
Yeah.
so I don't have any
Privacy.
personal private.
No. Fortunately for us, we did have that.
So I just
that
wanted
door up in a
clarification.
2-person cell. Yep.
Okay, so you say, so you're still explaining to us
What
about
changed?
what changed.
Yeah, and so, like I said, we was locked down. There was no more. It was always controlled movement. You couldn't move without. There's no signing yourself out because there's no going nowhere. There's no more schooling that got shut down. A lot of the activities.
What if I got COVID? I get COVID. What
If
do
you get
do?
COVID, then you're getting transferred to SAF. And whoever's in your room, they're going to SAF too. For real. And then the whole community, where if you're up in this building, if you're up in this pod or
They're
whatever,
getting tested.
they're getting locked down.
They're getting locked down.
There's no
So I already
outside, no
locked down for
nothing
23 hours.
in our rooms, in our cells. But there's no coming out of the cell. There's no going to, you have to give me a break to go to the yard, just to get out some fresh air. There's none of that. There's no going to chow hall, getting your food that's getting brought to the, there's none of that. You're in your cell. You can come out for that hour, and
What about
it's
showers?
controlled. For 1 hour, it's controlled.
Okay.
And you can take your shower and the phone calls came later. Like, at first, when it first happened, there was no phone calls. There were no visits. They didn't know what to do. Yeah, they had to take it and organize it. And
were they offering cleaning supplies? Because I know a lot of times with the phone.
oh no, yeah. I mean,
They weren't offering
you have to offer cleaning supplies. I mean, it's the whole COVID. They don't have to, but it was out there. I mean, I'm the type of person
We were putting socks on the
I'm gonna clean
phone.
up. You gonna clean up too. You
Right.
clean it up.
Right.
Like that's. I mean, even you have to be on your cellmate like that only because you gotta take care of yourself.
Right.
And if you in the
Makes
cell,
sense.
somebody don't clean. Yeah, get him up out of here.
Well, can y'all
Like-
do that?
Yeah, you gonna get him up out of here. I go to say, like my health is
Because
worth it.
well, because I know some like I know some places you can go up to the CO at the desk and say, hey, I want to do a sales.
Oh yeah, no, they don't accommodate you like that.
Yeah,
It
so
has to be a problem.
So you would have to go to SAG. That's what
I
you're
would,
saying.
yeah, I will cause a problem.
To go to SAG.
Yep, I will cause a problem. to go
Okay,
to
get
SAG.
out of
Yep.
that. Because that's like, so the joint that you're in, Shakopee, seems more like Faribault to me. Because Faribault, it's supposed to be a medium, but it's controlled movement, it's K buildings. K buildings are the newer facilities, so you're not like in the old jail, and everything's automated. So they open your doors, they close your doors, they talk to you in them.
Yeah, they can lock and unlock your
Yeah,
doors,
that's-
let you all lock you in, and
That seems like you're. It seems like it's really petty. That's how Faribault was.
they are super petty.
Yeah.
Super petty. Like
Yeah.
we don't have ice machines, or you can't even have
That's
a cold
Faribault.
beverage.
That's Faribault.
Like
Yeah.
they're super petty.
Yeah, there's no ice machines because that Stillwater, at least everybody believes because there's really no, inside your cell, there's no fresh water. That's not, so you have to bring the ice in to melt it, to do whatever you want, and you bring it in to keep your food cold. And so when you go down to those joints, there ain't no ice machine. So you drinking out of this the sink.
Tap water.
Yeah, tap water, which I don't even know what's in that. And then you can't keep none of your stuff cold.
Nothing.
So you can't, I can't bring nothing back, have a nice meal, and be able to
Right,
warm it
you
up the next
ordering
day.
sodas off commissary for what?
Yeah.
They hot. Like you gonna get them hot, you gonna drink them hot.
But now they throwing them outside. We throw them outside and see what
Oh
they smell.
yeah, we can't even do that. Because how you gonna go get them? You gonna throw
Yeah,
them
well,
out?
we-
The windows don't open.
No, but don't y'all have patios or they
No.
able to go out? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So-
can't freely move around like
No, it is.
So when
patios.
the
Go where you
so when the phone calls finally did start giving you out a phone call, did they give you out free phone calls?
When I got into the
I'm talking about
CIP
Cole.
program, no.
They still offering that now.
No.
Like on Mondays, one of my guys called me from Moose Lake and he get 5-minute free phone calls.
And see, that's what I was gonna say. When I got into the CIP program,
Oh,
I
up
don't
there,
know.
you up there though.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's
so
up
I
there.
had already moved. So in that program, they did give me a 5-minute
Free.
free phone call.
So he might be part of that
In the
program.
feds, where I was at, first the emails was cut off, the phones were cut off, and we were locked in our rooms for 23 hours. No, it was 24 hours a day. The first like week, and then after the week, they figured out a program where they let us out a few cells at a time to go shower.
You just make phone calls and make
Well, the
food.
phone calls didn't come yet. Then the emails came back. Then the phone calls came back, and when the phone calls came back, it was free 5-minute phone calls 3 times a day.
Because they had so many
so they were
people.
probably getting
They had
that,
so
but I
many
had already transferred over.
So let me ask you a question too, JPay. Did you guys get the kiosk in Shakopee?
Yeah.
And then how did that work?
So first come, first serve.
You guys had the
Yeah, we
tablets.
got our JPay tablets and went to, like, there's no internet, you know the JPay tablets.
Yeah.
Go to the kiosk
Yeah,
and do
you
your
download
emails
your
and
emails.
music and whatnot.
Yeah, photos.
But it's first come, first serve.
How many kiosks did you have? 2?
Depends on which facility you were in. So
So I didn't have Wi-Fi?
No, none of the joints got Wi-Fi. They've been banned. They been blocked. They keep talking about getting it, but they don't want people to have Wi-Fi.
They had
Because
Wi-Fi in Florida?
we worried about the predatory sex offenders being able to, anything they can keep it. No, they got cell phones and joint. They all that stuff is, but Minnesota is so restricted. They only want the programs coming in they can make the most money out of. Period. So that's why they're backing down. They back down a lot of other because they want the kickbacks too.
When JPay,
You know?
when JPay put the tablet system in the Florida prison system, they put Wi-Fi in all the hallways, so like you don't even have to go connect to the kiosk.
And that-
Right,
but
so
that-
but that was
Emails
able
about
for
it.
you to do your emails, you can check your balance,
Everything.
and all that. We can do
Everything.
none of that. On our JPay, we can play this little dumb game and
Yeah,
listen to
garbage.
music.
Yeah.
I can check my email that I already checked on the kiosk. I can go read it again in my
wow.
room.
Yeah,
I can't
this is
send them.
it's
I can construct an email, but I can't send it.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
yeah,
they
that
had
was
that.
all
No,
right.
I lay in the bed sending them receipts.
No.
Late at night.
They tricked us.
Yeah, but
they got us to buy that JPEG.
Yeah, well, they upgraded it, and people were buying it. Thinking that, I think people putting $3,000 worth of music on their JPEG tablet, thinking that when they get out, they're going to be able to utilize. I'm going to use this when I get out. And then a lot of times they get out, it locks after 30 days. Nobody, and they get.
Well, I still have mine.
What are you doing with it? Is it prop for the bed? What are you doing?
I mean, I actually let my little one play the games. And they still listen to the music.
Well, the thing, how did you get it unlocked? How did you get it unlocked?
It's not unlocked. I still use it like I was in prison.
No, they're supposed to lock. They supposed to lock up after 30 days.
If you don't plug it in
Which
the kiosk.
If you don't plug it in the kiosk.
If you don't plug it in the kiosk for 30 days.
Yours didn't lock up?
Mine
did. Look, I had an issue with my JPEG player, so I had to reorder. And so when I was up in the CIP program, like I was conversating with the JPEG people, and so they knew I was about to be released, and they had to send me my JPEG player. I had to hook it up, transfer all my stuff. So maybe they did unlock it. I don't know, because they knew I was about to.
Because
before, because the one that I had before I was about to release, they said, okay, well then we'll just send you a USB and you'll transfer all the stuff on there. So when you get home, no, I'm about to be released. So this one don't work. Send me my other one, and when I get released, it should just be working. Like, because I paid for it, so I'm not about to leave it without it. I mean, if I had to, it would have been gone. But my son walks around and he plays the little games I downloaded on it, and he listens to the music.
Yeah, because a lot of people was pissed off. I mean, they put all that music.
Yeah, but when they unlock them, it's supposed to allow them to be like a tablet. It's supposed to allow Wi-Fi and all that other stuff.
It does.
But if it's locked, you can still just use it how you use it up in prison.
The other thing is that technology, man, people got baby tablets. I mean, the technology is so old. Yeah. That they're giving you, like, when you get one phone.
It's an Android. It's ran off the Android system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
It just, I don't. I just saw when it came through I refused to get any of that stuff. I just one more trick for them, And then when they started, like, because I was out when they had all where you can just take music off the internet. So when they were talking about that, you got to pay for it. I'm like, who's paying for music? And then then stamps. Like, who's paying for emails? Nobody's even checking their email. I check my email maybe once a day, but I'm not on my email. I'm on text message.
Yeah.
So it's just a whole different. So when you say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna send you some emails," I get mad when you're not checking them. People don't check emails in the. I mean,
I never even utilize my tablet for none of that. Like, only time I utilize my tablet is when I was training for the CIP program. I put my headphones in and listen to the music. That's the only thing I used it for. I really wasn't a writer going emails back and forth. JPEG.
But you got locked up later on down the line, so you already knew that, you had it figured out,
They had people down in Florida unlocking them. They had people, computer geniuses, locked up.
Pretty sure.
They was unlocking them. People be on their bed looking at YouTube videos, Pornhub and everything on their tablet.
Sure.
Yeah. And they didn't even know
because you know what? Because just because a person is considered a criminal doesn't mean they done.
Yeah, well,
what I mean?
Hey,
you think he's a criminal, you locked him up and think he can't
some of them masterminds.
Yeah.
Some of them cold.
Yeah.
Cold pieces.
It tripped me out when I seen dude on YouTube on his tablet. I'm like, whoa.
But you say, hey man, help me up.
Hey, no, I was too close to getting out.
Yeah, you don't mess nothing up when you're close to getting out.
Yeah, I was too close.
So Ron, we are
the voice of the voiceless.
We are
the only voice.
We are the voice of the voiceless.
I said that.
I'm saying it.
We are
the voice of the voiceless.
The only voice.
The only voice. We're done. You gotta run.
Not yet. I got about 20 minutes.
Why is this thing cut off?
I got about 20 minutes.
Cameras cut off. I pushed record.
We are the voice of the voiceless. We are the only voice.
It's all good. We're done.
I got about.
Yeah, and it'll be great because Barbara has definitely different perspectives to bring to the table. Because, like I said, she was there a few years before I got there, so she's seen a lot of stuff on the inside. And when I got there, we just got together and started articulating a lot of things that we can bring together. And I tell you, we get together and we can't shut each other
That's
up.
what I'm-
When y'all come back next time, I'm gonna have my other 2 chairs. I got 2
Well,
more
I'm gonna try to
I'm
get
gonna
one.
get them tomorrow
I'm
morning.
gonna try to get one more, like just have a round table female. I don't know what episode. Maybe I'm gonna put it up like 20, because 10. Because I like that'd be a big episode where we sit around.
How
You
long
start
have
this
you
thing
guys been
again?
doing this, and how much headway have you guys been getting? Have you been picking up?
We feel like 80-something subscriptions.
82,
Yeah, 82. It was 81 the other day, so we picked up
82.
one more person.
What's the goal?
10,000.
The
goal of the podcast. What are you
to help
trying to
people,
do?
to be able to help people like us. You know what I'm saying?
My-
Everybody don't get the opportunity that I got to come out and work release and be able to save up money. I went to a federal halfway house when I got out, and I was able to sit there. Due to COVID, they didn't take money out to per diem. I mean the 25%.
Oh, so you didn't have no gas fee and nothing.
We didn't have to pay the halfway house to stay there because of COVID. So I was able to save like close to $10,000, and that's how I got this crib. That's how I got my car that I got right now. You know what I'm saying? So I was on my feet when I got
That's
done with the
great.
halfway house.
That's great because Barbara and I, we actually got together a couple of times and we wanted to start like a .org or something because coming out, like I said, I was fortunate enough to have my family members move into my house and save my house for me and not have to uproot my kids. You know,
Right.
they did that for me. People don't have that.
Right.
And then when you get out, there's a lot of resources out here that people is not telling people about. And then there's a lot of jobs that say they're felony friendly just to get that extra money from the state.
Like-
But then
like
they're not-
Target. We
they're not
boycotted
hiring
Target.
felons.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
we wanna
saying.
be that
But
advocate.
the thing about it is, I had an idea, and I thought the idea was to bring us together because the problem we having is we're not connecting the dots. Like if you got a Black Lives Matter fighting for a police officer, and they want us to come protest, but then turn around and say we got all these black males who locked in prison. If this police officer that's shooting black males is putting them in, you're not connecting all the dots. We need to be upfront for this, and we keep pushing the cause, so it's not just every time something happens we're in the news. No, we need to stay. So with this is what I'm thinking is that we keep criminal justice on their minds. If it's not pointing out that dirty landlord that Barbara had on that BS that he was on.
Right.
It was not pointing out a person a place that should be hiring felons. We should be boycotting those places that don't hire felons.
No,
not
I
spending our money with
absolutely,
them.
agree
That's what
with
we're
you.
supposed to be doing.
I think a lot of the problem comes though before we get to the prison point. You know, the justice system is not made for us and is made to keep us down and in prison. So I think you guys are definitely on a great track, and what you're doing is, very commendable. On some of the podcasts though, like if you want to go into like, what's the steps that we are at before we get to the prison system? Because it's made to put us there.
Right.
But like I said, there's no steps to when you get, they could have put me in a position where I learned, like literally learned, instead of taking 5 years of my life away, me, a mother away from their kids, you know what I mean?
I see that.
So before it gets to that point, what are they doing?
I think the ultimate thing about it is like the conversation that you're having, and the points being missed. It's like they really don't care about your family.
They don't.
Because if they did care
But
about your family, they'd be
Me
putting
as a black
But
woman
what
that
they-
cares, and you as a black man that cares, that's been through it, that's been scarred, because we've been scarred.
Yeah.
What do we do now?
We do this right here. This is what you do. You don't forget.
We don't forget.
You constantly put it on their minds that does 5 years, 8 years, whatever you take from me, you about to pay for it. Because I'm about to come out and expose you for what you are. So I don't want nobody else to go up in there. And those who's coming out, I'm giving them a reason not to go back.
And for that reason, please call me anytime you need me.
Hey, listen, hold on. Say I got something to say. Ron, get a photo.
Go ahead.
Say I got something to say.
I got something to say.
Hey, get a photo. One thing I want to talk about is, I don't know if you ever been in the joint, people have harebrained ideas in the joint. You know what I'm saying? People just want to, when they get out, they gonna do this and do this. There's one cat I was talking about. He was like, man, yo, hold on. You ain't never heard about this. When I get out, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm like, all right, whatever. He's like, man, I really don't want to tell nobody about it, but when I get out, I'm gonna start a fast food neck bone business. I'm like, what? I mean, come on, man. He's like, you ain't never heard that ever in your life.
They got it at the soul food restaurants already.
Fast food neck bones. No, I'm talking about fast food where you can go like McDonald's, get you a 3-piece, 4-piece neck bones. Fast food. I'm like, man, you crazy as hell.
They already got that at the soul food restaurant.
Yeah, so but they don't got it where you can just drive up in a drive-through.
This what he's saying. This what he's saying.
Or order a 10-piece neck bone. Or I want 10-piece neck bone. It ain't no damn meat on the neck bone. People ain't gonna even get full. That's the genius behind it.
Go.
I got something to say. Say shit. I got something to say. I got something to say. I got something to say.
I got something to say.
I got something to say.
I got something to say.
3.
I got something to say. I got something to say.
I got something to say.
I got something to say. No, I got something to say.
You want to hear me though? I got something to say.
I got something to say.
What you got to say?
I got something to say.
Okay. Say it one more time.
I got something to say, man.
About what? On I got something to say?
On I got something to say.
You got something to say on I got something to say?
On I got something to say, man.
All right.
I got something to say.
Go.
I got something to say.